Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am actually jumping and doing this Facebook Live as well as YouTube at the same time because I want to share with you guys the great news that actually immigration has updated their website. So my name is Rocio. If this is your first time joining me, make sure you grab a notebook because I'm going to give you a lot of information. I want to share the breaking news that's happening right now about DACA. So please start sharing this post. I am going to talk about how to apply for DACA, who's eligible, and what are the requirements. I'm also going to give you some tips how you can actually put a whole packet together. So don't forget to share this with other people who have never had DACA. They're eligible to apply. Their website has been updated, even though the Supreme Court made an order or placed an order back in June saying, hey, you should start accepting DACAs. They had not updated their website with immigration. USCIS website still said, we will reject anyone who submits a brand new application. They said, moreover, anyone who submits a renewal application for DACA right now, we're actually going to renew it only for 1 year. And also, we're going to make advanced parole very difficult, and we are only going to allow you to travel if you only have urgent humanitarian reasons. Now they're actually allowing you to travel for different reasons, work-related reasons, due to educational reasons, and if you just have a simple humanitarian reason to travel. So current people who have DACA, please go ahead and apply for advanced parole. If you had like a loved one, I know this happens. People have, someone who has passed away, you haven't been able to go visit because advanced parole was taken away. I know people have, issues or things to take care of. Please go ahead and apply for advanced parole. So again, for those of those who don't know me, my name is Rocio, and I am an immigration attorney. And I want to talk to you guys today about the breaking news about how people are able to now submit an application for DACA if they have never had DACA. I am going to go over the requirements. I'm going to go over the list of documents. What do you need to submit with your DACA application? People may have questions about challenges. What if I have had a prior deportation? Am I eligible for DACA? So I do invite you to please join this video. Tag other people who you know are eligible for DACA. I'm going to give you so much information. Also, I do invite you, please go ahead and comment, make questions. I do want to make this as interactive as possible. I do plan on spending here about an hour with you because I do want to share all this information that's out there. So again, breaking news, immigration has actually updated their website and we are able to submit new DACA applications. So go ahead and please go ahead and post down comments, questions or inquiries. People who actually have had a deportation are able to submit an application for DACA. People who actually have certain crimes are able to apply for DACA. They have to be misdemeanors, and you cannot have more than 3 misdemeanors. Sometimes people will come to me and tell me, you know what, I was in high school, but I dropped out and I never, ever went back to school, so I don't qualify. Well, I have good news for you. You are able to qualify. If you go back and you register at least for a GED program, and you're currently enrolled in school, that's another category that will allow you to be able to submit an application if you've never had DACA. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Also, I want to share with you that even though today, honestly, I was waiting all day long. This last Friday, December 4th, a judge said, you better update your website, immigration, and you better start accepting DACA applications. Long and behold, the breaking news, it just happened about 2 hours ago. And this is why I'm doing this Facebook Live, because I want to be able to share this information with you guys. I want you, again, share this post, invite people to join the conversation. Any questions you do have, I do want to post them. I'm going to post them here on the screen so everyone can see, because I'm sure the same question you have, other individuals have it. So I do want to answer all your questions, all your concerns. I am going to go over the requirements, who's eligible to apply and who is not. Okay, so Miriam, gracias por estar aquí. Ella comenta, gracias por toda esta información para los jóvenes que aprovechen. Y es cierto, por favor, aprovechen. El programa de DACA fue establecido el 15 de junio del 2012. Y personas no han tomado ventaja, a veces honestamente por el desconocimiento, porque no entienden, por la confusión. Y ahorita les creo, porque he estado que sí, que no, que sí. Ahorita les puedo afirmar 1000%, están las puertas abiertas. Ustedes pueden someter su solicitud para DACA ahorita. ya actualizaron la página de inmigración. Mañana se levantan, someten su aplicación con DACA, ya la hicieron. Mi recomendación es que lo hagan lo más pronto posible. ¿Por qué? Porque de hecho hay otra corte que va a escuchar este argumento sobre el mismo tema el 22 de diciembre. Mi recomendación como abogada es apliquen, sometan su solicitud para DACA si nunca lo han tenido. Desde ahorita hasta el 22 de diciembre básicamente tenemos una ventanilla, porque nos podemos levantar y al igual que ahorita hace 2 horas dijeron, hey, vamos a empezar aceptando aplicaciones de DACA. Puede ser que lo vayan a cambiar. And actually, I just realized I started everything in English and I switched gears over to Spanish. So I need to go back into the English one because I'm actually going to do eventually another Facebook Live in Spanish at 8:30. So that's how my brain operates, okay? Having a bilingual head. So anyways, so back to having the DACA, please do apply. Again, we have a very small window. There's another court hearing December 22nd. So it could be that we wake up on December 22nd and they're going to say, you know what, we are no longer going to accept new DACA applications. So I'm urging everyone, we only have a couple of days, December 7th today through December 22nd to submit your DACA applications. So this is breaking news. If you've never had DACA, you're able to submit your application as of today. So please get up tomorrow morning, actually tonight, don't even go to bed, start looking for all of your requirements. I'm going to go over everything. So the breaking news is they have updated their website. They're currently taking new applications. So please submit your applications. So who's eligible? So I'm going to start my PowerPoint presentation. I am going to share it with you guys. Again, I do want this to be interactive. If you have any questions, please do post it because I'm sure other people have the same question. So I'm going to let you know who's eligible for DACA. Okay. So I'm going to go here and share my screen now. And what I do want to do, let's see here, application windows. I do want to share my screen. Okay, here it is. Okay, here we go. Share. And I hope you guys are able to see this. Okay, so I am going to start with this presentation. I am going to talk to you guys. So a little bit about me. I'm an immigration attorney, and I actually I came to this country when I was about 10 years old. I spoke zero English. I actually had to go to ESL English as a second language. I actually went to a community college in College of DuPage. I went to UIC where I obtained my bachelor's degree in French and communications. I also have an MBA. I have a master's in business administration. I actually went to law school. I graduated in 2009 and I opened my own immigration law firm in December of 2012. So we just celebrated our 8th anniversary this month. And I have 2 offices. I have an office in Chicago, an Ashton Division, and I have an office in the western suburbs in Warrenville. This is where I'm currently at, my Warrenville office, giving you guys this presentation today. So what is DACA? So basically DACA is, it stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And what it means basically, we are not going to deport you. We are going to protect you from deportation. You are a child. You basically came to the country before the age of 16. You're probably holding your parents' hand, your mom's hand, crossing the border illegally, or maybe you entered with a visa with your parents legally, which I want to correct that myth. The most of our the people who are here undocumented, they actually have entered with legal status. They usually come with a student visa, a tourist visa, employment visa, and they end up overstaying their visa, and then they end up being undocumented. So they wanted to provide protection for young people. So this is what is called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. Basically, it's a work permit that they created so people can apply as soon as they're 16. So this is why this was a really big issue. Dacas was it was an executive action that was announced on June 15th of 2012. Wonderful program. It provides young people employment authorization, protection from deportation, and also you're able to get a work permit. And people took advantage of this. They were able to apply for these benefits. They went to college. I have young people who are actually working at the Department of here in Fermilab, Department of Energy. There are people who are teachers. They are actually lawyers. They are people who are doctors, They came here when they were 9 months, or they came here when they were 3 months, and all they've ever known has been the United States. So this program is wonderful for them, but there are certain elements that you have to fulfill. You have to be able to prove that you arrived to this country before the age of 16. That is just a basic requirement. You cannot have been here 16 years and 3 months, 16 years and 8 months. So people ask me, attorney, I came here when I was 16 and 1 day old. It is not going to work. You have to be able to prove that you came here before the age of 16. Okay. Then, because that announcement was made on June 15, 2012, they said, okay, well, we don't want a flood of people coming to the United States seeking deferred action. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you, you have to prove to us that you were here 5 years prior. So that's why you see that requirement that you need to be able to provide proof of physical presence here in the United States from June 15, 2007, all the way until the present. So back then when they announced DACA in 2012, it was just a couple of years from 2007 through 2012. Well, now we're talking about the present. We're talking about 2020. So you need to be able to prove, one of the basic requirements is documentation that you were here on June 15, 2007, all the way through 2020. So we're talking about 13 years of evidence. So what I tell my clients, organize yourself, grab folders, grab a folder like this and put in here 2007, grab another folder, 2008, another folder, 2009, another folder, 2010, 11, 12, 13, and all the way across, all the way until you get until 2020. And then when I ask my clients, I always get the question, well, okay, how many documents? What do I need to prove? Well, ideally, if you can give me a document for each month of 2008, if you give me a document for each month of 2009, but it's very difficult. Some people have a very hard time coming up with this documentation. So in my office, I ask people, just give me at least 5 documents per year. So again, organize yourself. 2007, give me 5 documents. And don't give me all the 5 documents from April. So I tell people, try to vary it. Give me something from January, April, August, and December. So we are trying to convince immigration that more likely than not, you were here in the United States. And again, these folders, I really emphasize, go to Staples, go to Target, go to any store, get a couple of these folders so that you can organize yourself, because you're going to need that documentation. Now, I want to emphasize deferred action, or DACA, it's not a law. It was basically an executive action. It is not the DREAM Act, which was another law. And it's basically just an affirmative decision by the Department of Homeland Security that's saying we're not going to deport these young people. They came here to this country without, they didn't mean to break the law. They were brought here by their parents. They were holding their hand. They came here before the age of 16. They're currently enrolled in school. These are citizens who are productive. They're filing their taxes. They have employment. I have a young guy who has actually deferred action, DACA, and he now owns his own dry cleaning service. And so these are people who are really helping the economy. They're hiring people. So these are people that we want them. We want them to be in our society. Now, again, DACA is not a legal status. It's not like, oh, I have a green card. People always ask me, oh, wait, I have DACA. I don't need to get a green card. But you cannot, DACA is just something temporary. As you've already seen, it's been very vulnerable, where they have taken off the table, on the table. It's been going back and forth. It's nothing permanent. It's just something in the meantime. All you get is protection from deportation, employment authorization, and a driver's license, which honestly, that's what everyone wants, the basic requirements. But it is not a means to an end. It's not going to get you a green card. It's not going to get you citizenship. So I have clients who actually, we have a DACA application and they have employment authorization, and they just found a U.S. citizen. They have their spouse, and now we're pursuing getting a green card. So you can do that. You can actually have 2 things going at the same time. What it does not provide, it does not give you legal status, like I was saying, and it does not provide a track for you to become a U.S. citizen. In order to do that, you need to be able to have someone else sponsor you and something more permanent. But again, deferred action, or DACA, it's only something temporarily. As I mentioned before, so here in Illinois, you're able to obtain an Illinois driver's license. You can get also state ID. You also get protection for 2 years. So this is another wonderful change about this. Back in June, the Supreme Court said, reestablish DACA the way it used to be in 2017, because there was a memo issued in July by immigration saying, we're going to have protection from deportation now for 1 year. So actually, I submitted DACA application for my clients, renewal application, back in December of last year. And when this new announcement came in July saying, nope, now we're only going to do them for 1 year, my clients got their employment authorization in August, September, October for 1 year. So you're wondering what's going to happen. The wonderful news again is that now that immigration has updated their website, they have said that they're going to issue 2-year employment authorizations. So in previous years, what has happened is when they have issued the incorrect years, they usually ask that people who have received the 1-year employment authorization, send it back to us, to immigration. We will send you a new one for 2 years. So this is, again, wonderful news that all these positive changes, or the way it was before, is being reestablished, because the memo that came out in July, they were taking so many benefits away from DACA, and now they're going to be able to provide better and newer documents, basically the extension of the 2 years instead of the 1 year. And once you have protection from deportation, you were able to renew your work permit every 2 years. So you submit it, it expires. You're allowed to submit a renewal 5 months before it expires. So basically 150 days. And you do have to pay a fee of $495 every time you submit a renewal with immigration. And some people, you get your employment authorization. It's valid for 2 years. You're working for a company. Make sure you do submit your application on time, because your employer can ask you, hey, your employment authorization is going to expire. I need to see the new one. So you do want to definitely do this and stay on top of it and renew it within 5 months. Now, what are the requirements? Here's a great picture, snap picture. You guys are welcome to take a picture if you want to. I know we're being recorded, or play this back, but these are basically the elements in order to be able to apply for DACA. If you're missing any one of them, you're not able to apply for DACA. So people are like, oh, I have everything. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm missing one of these points that I'm going to go over. Then you're not eligible for DACA. They will reject your application. And the other thing, I do highly recommend that you guys seek legal counsel. You do seek advice from an attorney, because now there was a new memo back in 2018 stating that if you submit an application with immigration, and if the application is denied, they can put you in immigration proceedings. So this is another risk now with all the changes under the new administration. You do have to be careful. Please do not go with a public notary. Do not go with the person who does your taxes and it says taxes / notary will do also your DACA. You really have to go with an attorney that knows what they're doing and they have experience doing this, because you run a risk. You run a risk to submit an application, it gets denied, and you will be placed in immigration proceedings. So let's start with the first one. That you came to the United States before the age of 16. That is just the requirement. So like I said, I have had clients who came when they were 9 months old, 3 years old, 6 years old, 12 years old. So you have to come to the US before the age of 16. At the time of applying or submitting your application, you have to be 15 years or older. There is an exception if you're in immigration deportation proceedings. They allow you to submit an application if you're 14 years old, but you have to have been at least 15 years old. So I have clients who call me, hey, I have my 9-year-old. Can we do DACA? No, you cannot do DACA. You have to wait until your child is 15 years old in order to apply. Now, you have to be able to prove that you were physically present, besides what I mentioned earlier, continuous residence from June 15 through 2007 until the present. You also need to prove that you were actually physically here on June 15, 2012. Now, people ask me, Rocio, why is that important? That's the date that Barack Obama announced this new change with DACA. So because that's the date that it was announced, they didn't want people, again, coming from other places and say, oh, I want to apply for DACA. So you need to be able to prove you were here on that day. Now, it could have been that I was homesick and I didn't go to work and I just didn't do anything on June 15th. So I don't have any documentation. So if you can have documentation proving I was here on June 15th, but maybe a couple of days before and a couple of days after, maybe I did some transactions, took money from my ATM, got a paycheck, sent an email, I don't know, just something that you can prove to immigration you were physically here. That's sufficient information. That's just one document for June 15th. Otherwise, if you can submit 2 or 3 documents a couple of days before, a couple of days after, I have had successfully DACA applications that have been approved. Again, the next thing you need to prove is continuously residing in the United States from June 15, 2007, and you must be currently present. So you must be, and that's the one that I mentioned from the beginning, where you do the folder separately from 2007 all the way until the present. You must be currently in school as well. So I can be a junior, I can be a sophomore, I can be a senior, I can show my transcripts. So here's a tip. They do not have to be certified transcripts. I know there's a fee. You can just go to the registrar's office and say, hey, can you just do a printout of my schedule? Can you just do a printout that I'm currently enrolled at this high school? That can qualify. Now, it could be someone's applying now, they're 26 years old, they already graduated from high school. So basically your diploma, your transcripts also give you a summary that you were here in 2007 in certain grade, 2008. So I also submitted that as evidence for each of the years that I'm mentioning. Or you could have been, people are like, you know what, I dropped out of high school, I never finished, I'm not eligible for DACA. And actually, if you go and register for a GD program, you're eligible. You're able to submit an application for DACA if you just go and register for a GD program. And also if you have been honorably discharged from the U.S. Armed Forces or the Coast Guard. So this is another one of the exceptions if you are not currently enrolled in school. I have graduated from high school. If you've been discharged from the U.S. Armed Forces or the Coast Guard, then you are also eligible. Now, what will disqualify you? What are the things? So one of them is that you cannot have been convicted of a felony. You cannot have a significant misdemeanor. And that's actually a really fancy, actually almost like made up word, to be honest with you. There isn't really a definition under immigration law, but they have made their own definition. And basically a significant misdemeanor is basically a DUI or domestic violence. So I have had clients who I have helped them get DACA. And then one of my clients, he actually got it here in Illinois. He ended up moving to California, and then he ended up getting a DUI. And with a DUI, you are not able to renew DACA. You're just completely out of the plan. And also, you could have had like a misdemeanor. But if you have 3 or more misdemeanors, then you're not eligible to submit an application. And again, the reason why I do emphasize, go with an immigration attorney, go with someone who knows what they're doing. I'm going to give you 2 examples as to why some people don't even understand their own record. I had a client who's, we're going to do a DACA application, and I asked him, do you have any arrests on your records? Oh, no, attorney, I'm clean, I'm fine, I don't have anything. And then he said, oh yeah, you know what? I was a passenger, my friend was driving, we got pulled over for whatever reason. I had my wallet, I reached into my wallet, it fell out to the ground, it opened up, and it had my actual ID, and it had a fake ID that I had in my wallet as well. But it's okay. It was in a different state. It was long time ago, and I think it's gone. And I was like, no, let's check your record. So we ended up checking his record, and basically it came back showing that he actually had identity theft as one of the crimes on his record. And that's actually, depending on the state, it can be considered a felony. So him, without even knowing, had he not brought that, mentioned that, had that conversation with me, he would have never known that it was actually a felony, and we were actually not able to submit his DACA application. I also had another client who came in and said, no, I have a DUI, I can't apply. And then his wife was here. She was, yeah, this guy's always drinking, so he had a DUI, I can't apply. And I was like, okay, you know what, why don't we just check your record? And sure enough, we checked his record, it came back, and actually what he had was public intoxication. So basically, that's not even a DUI. DUI is like driving under the influence. He was probably just walking around stumbling, probably, after having a couple of drinks. But it was actually an ordinance violation, which is completely different with immigration, but it was not a DUI. And so these are examples that I give you and I share because I want you to see that people don't even know what they have. He kept saying, I have a DUI. And I told them, I'm like, stop saying you have a DUI because you do not have a DUI. So there's just small examples that I've encountered with clients. And that's why I really, really emphasize, if you have any arrests, don't single yourself out and say, oh, I'm not eligible. Speak to an attorney, do a little bit more digging, get the results, get a copy of everything. And then once it's confirmed by an attorney, and then I guess you can back off and not apply. But otherwise, it's always worth it. Always look into it just to see, you might be surprised as to what you find. So what are the applications and what's the process? So basically, this is the website, actually. And if you see right there, it says we will reject all initial DACA applications. This is how they had updated it, but there is now a website under the Department of Homeland Security, and it's updated saying we will start accepting DACA applications. That's why I wanted to jump and do this DACA presentation with you guys to give you the requirements. As of today, people who've never had DACA, they can submit an application. So please jump on it. We have a very short window because, again, there's currently another court pending, and they're going to do oral arguments on December 22nd. So we could wake up and they could be like, nope. If you've never had DACA, don't even apply. So please get your applications going and submit them. So what forms do you need? You can find all these forms, and they're all for free. I've made immigration presentations in other places, and people have told me that public notaries, they will sell them the immigration forms for $50. And these are free. We all have access to them. You just go to immigration's website. You can type in USCIS, type the form number, and you're done. Like you're in. You're able to get the form that you need. So the forms that you need, and you can again take a picture, you can write down the notes. It's an I-821 D as in David, consideration of deferred action for childhood arrivals. Also the I-765 was which is your application for employment authorization, and your I-765WS. This is an additional form that has to go with all DACA applications. So these are the 3 actual forms that you need to submit. Make sure they're completed, make sure they're signed, and you're going to attach as well a money order. The fee for immigration, they will charge you $495. So you want to write out a money order payable to immigration, and you're also going to need 2 passport style pictures. So right now, if you have time, if you're driving around and watching my Facebook Live, stop at a Walgreens, stop somewhere, get your 2 style passport pictures, get the paper, go home, start digging through everything to gather all the information to be able to prove that you've been here from 2007 all the way through the present. And you can wake up tomorrow morning, go get the money order, and please submit your applications tomorrow. So documentations to submit, you are going to need your birth certificate. You need to be able to prove your identity. Submit your birth certificate, make sure it's translated. And also they're going to want a picture ID. So you can do, if you have a driver's license, you can do your passport. If you have a matricula, they do need to have, if you have a school ID. I've had people who are really young, they're 15 and they just have a school ID because there's a picture, there's an ID. We're able to submit that along with the birth certificate is your identity. So that's one of the things you need to submit. If there are any legal immigration records for whatever reason, you can go ahead and submit it. And even if there are dates, that's going to show, hey, I was here on these dates, whatever, your immigration records might say. You can submit your school records. So if I already graduated from high school, remember, I'm going to submit my diploma. If I'm currently in school, transcripts. And remember, my tip was they don't have to be certified. So you don't have to pay the extra money for them to be certified, or official transcripts, actually. If you are currently enrolled in a GED program, get a copy of that. Or if you have your GED certificate, your report cards or school records, that's all going to work to show that you're currently enrolled in school if you are. And you also, usually when I do this with my clients, I brainstorm. I feel like they also hire me to brainstorm with them to try to figure out a strategy. I had a client who came to me. He had been denied. He had submitted an application with a different attorney. He came to me and I was reviewing his paperwork. He's like, I have nothing, and they denied my application. And I asked him, were you here physically present? He said, yes, I was. I told him, come with me. I want to give it a try. Let's work together and let's figure out how to brainstorm and figure this out. And so you have to get creative. So sometimes people tell me, well, you know what? I don't have any records. I came over when I was 3. What am I going to submit? Of course, a 3-year-old doesn't have a cell phone. A 3-year-old doesn't have a mortgage, a car note, a driver's license. So it's more difficult for younger kids, but it's still feasible. Usually the my basic one to go to is immunization records. Those are, everyone needs them. So immunization records, doctor visits, go back to the doctor. Hey, doctor, I came here to see you when my son was 3 and 5. Do you have any medical records? Can I get a copy? Get medical records. You'd be surprised what you will find. Maybe you remember, oh, my child, she broke her elbow. I took her to the ER. Go to the ER and get some records. Maybe they had some, a tooth was pulled out. Maybe at that point you register them in kindergarten. I have actually submitted like the pictures in the group, like in kindergarten. I will circle their picture, their little face, and I'll put an arrow. I'm like, this is Jimmy. He was here in Chicago, at XYZ school, elementary school, and they'll do it for 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. I have actually submitted drawings of kids. Drawings, it has their name, there's a date. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to submit it. With couples I've had also, they will buy like furniture, on a monthly plan, and then they have a receipt. Honestly, even like bad records, and I consider bad records if you have a speeding ticket, or maybe you had, an arrest for something, a misdemeanor. Hey, that proves that you were here, or that you had to go to court. That proves that you were here. Honestly, anything and everything with your name, with your, with a date, we submit everything, and that's the one that you organize it in that folder. So the more documentation, the better. Again, my limit is usually 5, but you can get more. It's even better. The other thing you can do also are church records. Maybe you can submit baptismal, confirmation, first communion, or wedding pictures. The client who had a difficult time coming up with documentation, he actually found a wedding invitation where they were asking him to be the godparent for the wedding. And so there was his name, there was a picture, there was a date and everything. We scanned it, we copied it, and we submitted it in his DACA. I'm happy to report it was approved eventually after I felt like we're pulling teeth. So just try to think outside of the box. I always tell clients, were you here at home and was your grandma from Mexico sending you letters addressed to you? Go to your aunt. We all have that aunt who keeps everything, like the hoarder. Go in their house, look in their bag, look in your suitcase, look like it, and just documents. You never know what you're gonna find. And honestly, it's something really important to you that you need to do some digging. Some people, I feel like they come to me, they're like, oh, I don't have anything, I have nothing, I can't find anything. Start thinking, you know what? I have 2 children. I was pregnant. Okay, normally there's prenatal care. Normally you give birth and there's aftercare. You have to go to the doctor every month. Guess what? That documentation comes to you as the parent with your name. You can use that. My daughter was getting prenatal care. My daughter got care afterwards, or they start school. You get report cards for your children. Whose name is it? Is it under your name? Maybe you got car insurance when you were 16 years old. Maybe you had a bank account. Go back to that. Even if you closed it, go back to TCF, go back to Chase. Hey, can I get my records? I had an account back in. The thing is to find out. Just keep digging and try to find. You can find employment records of any, financial records as well, military records. Honestly, just pretty much anything that you can get your hands on. So here's my information. You can contact us. Our office is actually gonna make available 2 days this upcoming on Saturday, December 12th and Saturday, December 19th. We are going to be doing same day DACA applications. As long as you get the documentation that we need to us 3 days prior, you will walk out with your DACA application submitted, filled, and everything, and organized to be able to be submitted to immigration. Follow me on Facebook, Abogada Rocio as well. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Our phone number is 312-226-4232. Visit my website at www.lawrsb.com. We're also on Twitter, and we're also on TikTok. And now I do want to come back and see if you guys have any questions. I am happy to share, answer any questions. So again, remember, we are going to have appointments to do Dacas only on Saturday, December 12th and December 19th. So make sure that you give us a call to be able to schedule an appointment. Don't forget to share this video. Send me an email if you have any questions, and we can do same day DACA submissions. So again, breaking news, immigration has updated their website. We're able to submit DACA applications. So please stay tuned. Crystal Acevedo saying, congratulations to our dreamers. Yes, I agree. And Veronica Barcenas is asking, what type of documents do I submit to show proof? Veronica, wonderful question. Basically, anything you can get your hands on. If it has your name, it has anything. Gym membership, I've had those before. Magazine subscriptions, your name, and you're receiving it. Anything, prison records. Tammy, you can submit prison records, but as long as it doesn't make you inadmissible. So I could have had a speeding ticket. Maybe it depends how long you were in prison, because if you have a felony or you have three or more misdemeanors, it is not going to apply. But pretty much anything you can get your hands on to be able to prove to immigration that you were physically here in the United States. So again, we have breaking news. Immigration has updated their website. We're able to submit new DACA applications. So stay tuned. I have another question from Felipe Treviño. Tenía 17 años. Okay, so Felipe is telling me that he came here when he was 17 years old. So he is not going to be able to apply, because you need to prove to immigration that you arrived to the United States before the age of 16. So that's a requirement. So if you're already 17 years old, it is not going to work. And sometimes people will even, come to this country and there's an airplane ticket from Texas to Illinois. That is going to work, and that is going to count. Now, Esan has a question. How does this affect advanced parole for current Dacas that are married to a citizen? So great question, Esan. So basically, now that you're able to apply for advanced parole, if you currently have DACA, please apply for advanced parole, particularly if you have an invalid entry, because this is really important. If you're not married to a U.S. citizen and you have traveled with advanced parole and now have a valid entry, you're able to get a green card here in the United States within 8 months. And you do not have to go to Ciudad Juarez to the consulate, and you do not have to submit a waiver. So it's a great and wonderful opportunity. We're doing DACA renewals at my office, so please give us a call. Yes, so yeah, you're correcting that. Felipe is saying that he was 17 years old when he entered the United States, so he wouldn't be eligible. So anyways, this is all the information that I have for you guys. Feel free to comment. I will come back and answer more questions. I have given you an overview pretty much of who can apply for DACA, what are the requirements, what you should submit, what evidence. Our office can do same-day submissions, so don't forget, you can call us. We're going to be doing same-day submissions. You come in, we're going to submit everything on Saturday, December 12th and December 19th, so call us at 312-ABOGADA. If you have questions, you can always email me. So thank you for tuning in. And I'm actually going to jump in and do another Facebook Live in Spanish. So if you want to tune in, go into Abogada Rocio, and I'm going to do the presentation in Spanish as well. So thank you for joining me.